promise you tonight that I will reach across party lines to bring progress for all of New York's families. Today we voted as Democrats and Republicans. Tomorrow we begin again as New Yorkers. And how fortunate we are indeed to live in the most diverse, dynamic, and beautiful state in the entire Union. You know, from the South Bronx to the Southern Tier, from Brooklyn to Buffalo, from Montauk to Messina, from the world's tallest skyscrapers to breathtaking mountain ranges, I've met people whose faces and stories I will never forget. Thousands of New Yorkers from all 62 counties welcomed me into your schools, your local diners, your factory floors, your living rooms, and front porches. You taught me, you tested me, and you shared with me your challenges and concerns about overcrowded or crumbling schools, about the struggle to care for growing children and aging parents, about the continuing challenge of providing equal opportunity for all, and about children moving away from their hometowns because good jobs are so hard to find in upstate New York. Now, I've worked on issues like these for a long time, some of them for 30 years, and I am determined to make a difference for all of you. You see, I believe our nation owes every responsible citizen and every responsible family the tools that they need to make the most of their own lives. That's the basic bargain I'll do my best to honor in the United States Senate. And to those of you who did not support me, I want you to know that I will work in the Senate for you and for all New Yorkers. And to those of you who worked so hard and never lost faith, even in the toughest times, I offer you my undying gratitude. I will work my heart out for you for the next 6 years, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the steady support of so many people. I want to thank Charlie Rangel, Nita Lowey, and the entire New York Democratic Congressional Delegation, my future colleagues. I'm very grateful for the support of our Democratic statewide elected officials and my good friends, Carl McCall and Elliot Spitzer. I want to thank Shelley Silver and all the Democratic Assembly members, and Marty Connor and all the Democratic members of the state Senate. I want to thank all of my upstate friends who couldn't be here tonight, including Tony Masiello, Bill Johnson, Jerry Jennings, Mike Breslin, Mark Thomas, all the county chairs and other elected officials. And thank you to all of my downstate friends, Andy Spano and the county chairs and all the elected officials, and particularly my friends right here in New York City, the citywide officials, the borough presidents, the city council members, and two great friends, former mayors Ed Koch and David Dinkins.
Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton, having made history by being the First Lady elected to a major office, the United States Senate. Let's take a look now at the numbers. 66% of the precincts reporting, and I didn't call out the numbers.
This is the key, I think, one of the keys, Judy, that in the presidential race, Al Gore is running, even now, 1 million votes ahead of George Bush. She was running about 500,000 votes ahead of Rick Lazio.
60% there for Gore and 35% for Bush. I was talking and couldn't digest the numbers that we just showed in the Senate race.
Well,
can we see them again?
Here they are.
This is the
Gore-Bush race where he's running at least 1 million votes ahead with 2/3 of the precincts in, and Hillary has about a margin of 500,000 so far. This should remind a lot of people of the last out-of-stater who came to New York and won, Robert Kennedy in 1964, who won by 750,000 votes, while Lyndon Johnson was beating Barry Goldwater by more than 2.5 million votes. These are two races, then and now, where coattails may have helped.
All right, there are the Senate numbers again with 68% of the precincts reporting Hillary Clinton, 56% of the vote to Lazio's 44. As Jeff said, it's about a 500,000 vote margin for the First Lady.
Yeah, which suggests that not only did she choose a good state to run in, because New York has 2 million more Democrats registered than Republicans, but she chose a good year to run. In a presidential year, where a candidate like Al Gore can pile up a big majority, she does have coattails to ride. If this weren't a presidential year, she might have had a much tougher time winning
But
New
that's
York.
that's a pretty significant margin. I mean, who knows whether it will hold, but this is 2/3 of the precincts reporting, and she's got a 12 percentage point margin.
Money, money, money. More than $21 million spent.
That's right.
Yes, but barely, that's about 1/3 as much as was spent by one candidate in New Jersey. Often New Jersey is said to have an inferiority complex. When it comes to spending money in a U.S. Senate race, boy, New Jersey can hold its head up high and say to New York, you guys are minor leaguers compared to what we did.
That's John Corzine.
John Corzine, because New Jersey has 2 of the most expensive media markets in the country. To run in New Jersey, you have to advertise in New York and you have to advertise in Philadelphia. Those are expensive markets, and John Corzine spent about $60 million, more than any candidate in history, to win that Senate seat.
We should repeat a news item that we reported several hours ago. Libby Pataki, wife of the governor, went on radio earlier today.
Let me interrupt you, Jeff.
Sorry?
CNN is going to make a call in the Southwest, an important call. Colorado has been won by Governor Bush. Governor Bush taking Colorado's 8 electoral votes. Please continue.
So by, let's see, the total then is 225 George W. Bush to 231. Who said this wasn't going to be a close night, a close election?
Yeah,
it is a close election.
Colorado is the state that switched from Clinton in 1992 to Dole in 1996. So it could have gone either way, and it looks like it stuck with the Republicans as it did with Bob Dole.
And those people who were saying a week ago you would be waiting for Wisconsin, waiting for Iowa, waiting for Florida, waiting for Arkansas, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, Arizona,
And
they were right.
And we have to keep looking, I think, at the Nader numbers. You know, Colorado is not one of the states that Nader was presumed to be a threat in, but those states that are still in yellow, Arizona, Oregon, Washington,
Wisconsin.
Skip over to Wisconsin.
Here's the
Look,
list.
here's the list. Ralph Nader is a factor, not in every single one of them, but in
At least
several
4.
of them.
In
At least 4 of
Wisconsin,
them.
Washington, Oregon, Iowa, and Maine for that 1 electoral vote. These are states where Nader may make a difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year 2000, where the presidency of the United States will be decided by states, it's fair to say, many of whom have not had this kind of power in past presidential elections.
That's right, because and even Alaska, which hasn't even closed its polls yet. It's the last state that hasn't closed.
But which we can fairly well expect to go Republican, since it
always goes Republican.
Right.
And that's, what, 4 electoral votes in Alaska?
No, just 3. Just 3.
3.
Big state, not many people.
One of the leaders of Congress watching all that's happening very, very closely is the man from Mississippi, the Senate Majority Leader, Trent Lott. When we come back, we're going to sit down and talk with him, or he'll sit down and talk with us, and we'll take a look at the balance of power beneath this great, majestic dome, the United States Capitol building, as CNN's live coverage of Election 2000 returns in a moment.
We're watching the presidential race. We're also watching a number of Senate, House, and governor races. Very important. Let's go right to our balance of power man tonight, Wolf Blitzer.
Judy, a very close race in Washington State right now. The incumbent senator, the Republican Slade Gorton, and the former Congresswoman Maria Cantwell. Too close to call. That race we're going to be counting votes on to see who wins. Let's take a look at the balance of power in the Senate as of this minute. What we know, there were 35 Republican holdovers, 31 Democratic holdovers. The Republicans so far tonight have won 14 states. The Democrats have won 15 states. That brings the total, the Republican total right now, 49 Republican senators, 46 Democratic senators, 5 still undecided, those undecided being Michigan, Missouri, Nebraska, Montana, and Washington State. Stuart Rothenberg, so far one pickup for the Democrats tonight.
Well, a lot of the close contests are still out there, Wolf, but the Democrats have to go 5 for 5, and 4 of them would be takeovers. That's awfully difficult. And our viewers might be wondering about the presidential level in the Senate. As you know, as we noted, Missouri went for Governor Bush at the presidential level, but John Ashcroft is trailing him slightly, and Michigan, of course, is going for Al Gore. Spencer Abraham is actually drawing a few more votes than George Bush did in that state.
All right, we'll be watching those 5 states. For now, back to Bernie on the national desk.
And Wolf, right up to Washington, the Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott. Mr. Lott, you're in Jackson, Mississippi. Let's put you in your home state. Trent Lott, you just heard Stu Rothenberg say that tonight the Democrats will have to go up 5 for 5 to snatch control of that senior body from your party. How do you see it going down? Tomorrow morning, will you wake up still in control of the United States Senate?
Well, I certainly hope so, Bernie, and it looks like we will be able to hold a majority. Of course, we've got to watch those races, and several of them may still be close, but if they have to sweep basically all of the seats that are left, I'd hope that that's not going to be likely. It's hard to tell right now whether we'll have a net pickup of 1 or a net loss of 2, but I believe that we will still be in the majority, and certainly I hope so. I appreciate the people of Mississippi re-electing me to the Senate, so I hope that we're working with the majority when we get there.
You never had any doubt about your re-election, did you?
Well, you never take it for granted, and I had not 1 but 4 opponents, and so anytime you've got 4, you got to watch it.
Any Senate races giving you a little heartburn or a lot of heartburn at this hour?
Well, I'm excited about a couple of them. I'm excited about George Allen, the former governor in Virginia, winning, and former Congressman John Ensign there in Nevada. Of course, I've been, very concerned about the situation in Missouri. It's just such a difficult set of circumstances for people to deal with on both sides of both parties.
Let me interrupt you for a moment. A federal judge ruled that the polls in St. Louis could stay open until 10 their time. They closed about 21 minutes ago. Is that what you're alluding to? Because Kit Bond was he was just furious that the Democrats in St. Louis could pull this off, as he indicated.
Yeah. Well, that did seem like an unusual set of circumstances, that they would come in at the last minute and keep polls open longer and only in that one place, but not in the rest of the state. I understood that it had gone first that they were going to be open, then they couldn't be open, but it just tells you a little bit of something about what's been happening in Missouri. John Ashcroft, John is a great guy, and I hope he wins. He's been a good senator, and he also is a part of our Singing Senators Quartet. We need him.
Senator, let me interrupt you for a moment. CNN is declaring another race in Nevada. Governor Bush wins 4 more electoral votes. He picks up Nevada's 4 electoral votes. And this is the tally as it stands now. Can it get any closer? Vice President Gore with 230 electoral votes. Governor Bush with 229 electoral votes. Trent Lott, you are one of the masterful vote counters in the United States Senate. How do you see this breaking down, say, over the next hour?
Well, looking at the maps that are still, I guess, yellow on your national map, the ones that haven't been clearly decided, I have the impression Arkansas will go for Bush. I still believe Florida will go for Bush. I'm hoping and thinking maybe Iowa will go for Bush. Plus, I believe you still have a couple other states out west, maybe Oregon, that might go for Bush. So it looks like it's still going to be very close. And I'm used to counting votes in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, but I haven't counted them in electoral colleges.
What do you make of Wisconsin? Arizona?
Well, what did you call there?
We've not called it. We've not called.
Yeah.
This is what we've not called. We've not called Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Iowa, Nevada, Maine.
We just called Nevada.
Just called Nevada, pardon me. Oregon, Washington, Wisconsin. There's one electoral vote, of course, in Maine. And Alaska closes in less than 45 minutes.
Well, and Alaska certainly will be for Bush, and I believe the first 5 you named there will probably all go for Bush. Wisconsin looks like we have a good chance there. You've got an outstanding governor, Tommy Thompson. Governor Bush had been looking pretty good there, but that's a state that Republicans don't always win, as you know, on a national level, and that would be a great victory.
Senator, it's Jeff Greenfield. You're looking at a popular vote that is almost dead even. You're looking at an electoral vote that is almost dead even. People always wonder when a race is this close, when a country in effect really is tied. What sort of mandate can a new president have when he wins, whichever one of these fellows wins, by such a small percentage?
Well, I don't know that you would have a sweeping mandate, but I think that the attitude of the American people is we will come together behind the winner. Obviously, I hope that it's George W. Bush. I believe he will bring a new atmosphere and a new approach to how we do business there. But even if it's not Governor Bush, if it's Vice President Gore, he'll be a new man, and there'll be a spirit of effort to cooperate, try to get things done for the best interests of our country. So while you may not have a sweeping mandate, it's going to be different in Washington. It's going to be different without Clinton in the presidency.
Senator, have you thought, it's Judy Woodruff, have you thought about the possibility of a tie in the electoral vote? We realize that the odds are against it, but have you and some of your colleagues talked about that?
Actually, we have not talked about it. I have seen some speculation about that in the media, the idea that I guess there could be a tie of 269 to 269. I don't believe that's going to happen. I still believe that Governor Bush will wind up getting somewhere in the range of 285 to 295, something like that.
Trent Lott, explain to us the credibility that Governor Bush would have if he is elected tonight, coming to Washington, having run as an outsider.
Well,
unquote.
Actually,
unquote.
Yeah. Well, that's happened many times before. That was true with Jimmy Carter. That was true with Ronald Reagan. That was true with Bill Clinton. And it'll be true with George W. Bush. But he'll bring a new atmosphere. I think he is going to try to bring us together. It'll be incumbent upon people like myself to work with him and to make sure that he understands how the Senate does business and that we understand what he really wants to achieve. I think we need to reach out to the Democrats and say, what can we do together for our country? I mean, Medicare reform, we need it. We know we need it. We got to provide prescription drugs for our seniors that can't afford it. Let's quit trying to see what we can disagree on, and let's see if we can find 2 or 3 really big things. Churchill would want us to do that. He would say, find a few big things and focus on that. You know, we've got a lot to be proud of. The economy is good. We don't have a war right now in the world. We have balanced the budget. We are reducing the debt. We have cut taxes some, but we need to do more in that area. So we need to take that next step to deal with Social Security and Medicare reform, do some repairs to our defense that has been damaged by the last few years of the Clinton-Gore administration, and we need to do more in returning some of the tax dollars to working Americans. If we could just do those 4 big things, I think that would be really good for the country, and continue to pay down the debt and balance the budget.
Speaking of reforms, given what still might happen tonight, do you think it is time really now to look at the Electoral College and do something about that, or are you content with this system?
Well, we've talked about doing that in the past. I remember when I was in the House of Representatives years ago, probably in the 70s, we thought about it. There have been some scholars that have talked about how we maybe need to change that, but the person that wins with the Electoral College vote will probably say, this system works pretty well. Our forefathers did a pretty good job, and while I, have difficulty explaining even to my own wife why you could win the popular vote but lose the Electoral College vote and how that wouldn't be fair, I think the system still works pretty well. It has over 200 years, and before we change it, I think we need to be real careful and think about it long and hard. But I don't put it outside the realm of possibilities. I think you always need to ask yourself, is this the best we can do, or should we consider changing it?
All right. Senator Trent Lott, the Republican leader of the United States Senate, we thank you very much for joining us from
The
your
majority
home.
leader, Judy.
Did I say minority?
No, you said Republican.
No, you said
Republican
Republican,
leader,
but I
I'm
still like majority.
All right, we'll call you majority. There's no